Charley Wilcoxon. I can confidently say that Charley Wilcoxon is my favorite snare drum composer. He was a genius at taking very simple rudimental ideas and creating beautiful pieces of music with those ideas. Now, I don't know when he wrote them if he meant to do them as etudes or if he thought of them as musical works. My guess is he probably thought both, because he was most likely writing those for himself and for his students as sort of etudes. But I think, he obviously put a lot of effort into making them, to writing them out in a musical fashion. But for me, they're so effective, and really he was a genius at taking a simple, each solo has a theme. In the advanced rudimental swing solos for the advanced drummer, the first solo is 98% double strokes. So there's like a flam in there, maybe a single stroke or something, or a paradiddle, but it's pretty much all double strokes. So the fact he can make such a beautiful musical piece just using one rudimental idea. I mean, he does use different roll combinations, but it's all doubles. The next solo is a flam solo. What's it called? The flam stomp or something? I think so. Anyways, it's like same thing. It's 98% flams, and it's very effective. It's challenging. It looks easy. I've had some students, they get to that solo and they just want to skip it. And in fact, I remember when I bought that solo, that book, I skipped that solo. I didn't have a teacher. I was learning it on my own, and I looked at it and I was like, that looks kind of easy. It's not worth my time, and so I skipped it. I went back years later, and it was really challenging. I had to work on it for a while, and I still feel like I need to work on it. So really and it's just simple ideas, just plain flam combinations, but they sound great. So when I work on these solos, I'm going to split this into two parts. I'm going to say the second part first. It's that I don't think of them as etudes or technical exercises. When I practice them, my end goal is that they're ready for a musical performance. So for me, just simply deciding to put up one of the snare solos on YouTube is enough for me to make it the best I can, because I don't know who's going to see it, and whether it's going to get viewed by 12 people or 1,000 people, I want it to sound like a piece of music and not a technical exercise. And that's why every time I put up a Wilcoxon solo onto YouTube, it's on the snare drum and it's without a metronome. So I see a lot of people putting up the versions of them playing along to the Wilcoxon solos, and they're playing along with a practice pad, and I can hear the metronome. So I mean, that's cool. I guess it's a good way for students to learn how to play the solos. If my student didn't know how to play the first solo, I mean, I have 2 videos of me playing it, so I usually will just tell them to check out my videos, but maybe they're having troubles hearing the rhythms. So yes, some people put up videos of them playing the solos with a metronome on a practice pad. So cool, they get a really clean version to learn from. But in terms of musical content, there is no musical content in somebody playing on a practice pad with a metronome, in my opinion. I'm not disrespecting or saying anything towards the people who are putting those up, but for me personally, my goal is to make a musical statement. So that's why I keep pushing through the practice of, okay, I do work on them with a metronome, sometimes on a practice pad even, but that's not my end goal. So when I get it up to a certain speed with the practice pad, I don't stop there. I go to the snare drum, and which also quickly I see that no matter how well I execute on the practice pad, it's not the same as the snare drum. So then there's some stuff to work on the snare drum. So I spend time on the snare drum working on the articulation on an actual drum with all of its resonances and its subtleties that I don't hear on the practice pad. Even after preparing it, work on the practice pad, or I'm on tour, playing it every day in the hotel, it sounds really good. I get up to some blistering fast speed, not. And then I'm like, okay, that feels great. All right, I'll take it to the snare drum. Whoa, big difference, big difference. So, there's something to be said about learning these solos on the snare drum if you can. If you have access to a snare drum, then put in that time on the snare drum to learn them and make your end goal that of a performance piece and not just a rudimental etude. And you'll see that it'll change the mentality that you'll have when you're working on these pieces and how you think about music in general. Because when we practice music, we have to practice it as if we're performing it. Because if we go on stage and all we've done is practice technical exercise, that is going to be our mentality when we're performing music. So practicing is not only technique, it's also mental. Your approach can really affect how you execute your music on stage. So my challenge for you is to take a Charley Wilcoxon solo that you can already play well on the practice pad and to learn it on the snare drum, and then to videotape yourself playing it and upload it to YouTube. And please tag me, because I would love to see it. See you next time.